Hi, you're watching Rapid MMA. This is my UFC 199 fantasy picks. First fight, Polo Reyes versus Dong Young Kim. Not much to say. Kim lost his last fight by KO in the third round. Reyes won his last fight. Kind of underwhelming fighters in my opinion. I wouldn't really bet on it. I'm going to say Polo Reyes by decision. Next up, Kevin Casey versus Elvis Mutapcic. Both these guys are good on the ground. I think Elvis is a little better of a striker. I like his pressure. I'm not sure Kevin can win this fight by submission, and that's probably what he'll need to win. Also, Kevin gasses out. I think Elvis picks him apart, and Kevin holds him against the fence if he can to try to get it to the ground. But I think he just gasses out, and Elvis picks him apart. Jonathan Wilson versus Henrique de Silva. Both are strikers. Jonathan has 5 wins by KO, 4 first-round finishes, 3 KOs in less than 2 minutes. This should be a good fight, likely ending by knockout. I don't know much about Henrique de Silva other than that all his wins are by knockout too. The one little thing I didn't like about Wilson was his striking defense when he was pressured by Chris Dempsey. And I think a heavy hitter that presses forward with combos might be able to catch him. So if there's some value there, maybe bet, but I would probably stay away from this fight because we don't really know. Wilson is athletic, he's a good southpaw. I'm picking Jonathan Wilson to win via first round knockout. Sean Strickland versus Tom Breese. This will be a close fight. I'm not really sure who to pick. Both are decent strikers and have a well-rounded game. I think Strickland a little bit more than Breese, but Breese has knockout power. Right away I was going to say Breese by KO, but I think Strickland a little bit more well-rounded, might be able to get it to the ground. I'm not sure. I'm going to say Sean Strickland via decision. Cole Miller versus Alex Caceres. I think the stand-up will be very interesting. I think Caceres is a little quicker, has some decent footwork, but Miller is a vet, has a really good ground game, and he can probably even piece Alex up on the feet a little bit. I like Miller's range a lot. He's pretty good with his range, but I just see Caceres making a mistake and Miller like dropping down for a heel hook or something. So I'm going to say first round submission for Cole Miller. Jessica Penne versus Jessica Andrade. I think Penne is just the superior martial artist and she has good reach on her as well. Andrade is dropping down from 135 to 115 and I just think that'll destroy her cardio. So I'm going to say Jessica Penne by decision. Next up, Beneil Dariush versus James Vick. Not sure how I feel about this fight. I'm picking Dariush because I think Vick's striking is still developing. And I'm not so sure he could stay on the feet with Dariush. I mean, Dariush hasn't looked the best on the feet either, but I mean, they're both good fighters. Dariush, I think a little more so. Close fight, but I think Dariush for a decision. Ortega versus Guida. Ortega has a really good jab, decent footwork. I didn't like his takedown defense against Diego Brandao, so it gives me a little hesitation because Guida can drive and try to wrestle fuck you, but I also think that Ortega's got a good submission game. Guida's lost by submission 9 times. It's tough to pick against a younger Ortega here, so I'm going to say Ortega, submission, round 2. Next up is Dustin Poirier versus Bobby Green. I mean, I'm really excited for this fight, especially after seeing the interviews. I have a breakdown video for this fight, so check in the description if you'd like to watch that. Basically, I don't like the long layoff of Green, but under different circumstances, I'd be much more confident to take him, but I don't like that long layoff, but I do think that he'll be ready. He's going to give Poirier a really good fight, but I think Poirier at this time, I mean, he's really got his momentum going. He's got a good ground game. Is it the best? No, but is it enough to beat Green? I think it is, and I think Poirier will win a hard-fought decision. Dan Henderson versus Hector Lombard, another fight where I have a breakdown. Go check it out. My pick was Hector Lombard in that video, but I'm going to change that, and I'm picking Dan Henderson now. Am I confident he can survive Lombard's relentlessness? No, of course not, but you know what? If Dan can just find that one window to attack, I honestly think he could put Hector Lombard away. Listen, I know Hector has never been KO'd, but I don't think he's ever fought a top-tier heavy striker. And is Dan Henderson that guy? I mean, he is a heavy striker. Tim Boetsch wasn't it. Even at Dan's age, he might be able to just fire off a fucking hammer and really rock Lombard. And Hector has 7 fights in the UFC, 4 wins, 3 losses. One of those wins overturned because of steroids. He's been to decision 4 times. He only has 2 wins by KO in the UFC. Lombard can get reckless. This is during the USADA phase. I don't know if he's still using, but I mean, it looks like he is. Lombard's not young either, he's 38. I'm going to give Dan Henderson the benefit of the doubt. You'll see Lombard have his first KO loss in the UFC. I'm going to say Dan Henderson, first round knockout. Next up is Max Holloway versus Ricardo Lamas. I'd say it's definitely safe to pick Lamas, and I said this in the breakdown video. There's a link in the description. Ricardo is very underrated, and I think he could definitely get the better of the grappling. He has a good jab, good timing. He's older, more likely to be solid as a martial artist. However, I'm impressed with Holloway's progression. I think his stand-up poses some problems, and his takedown defense might be good enough to win this fight. I'm picking Max Holloway to win by decision, but don't count out Ricardo Lamas. He's an underdog, but he's right up there. Cruz versus Faber, another fight where I have a breakdown. Go check it out. Great fight, and I see some of my favorite analysts picking Faber, mostly just because they're fans, but also they recognize Faber is still at the top of his game. I think Faber has the tools to win, but Cruz always seems one step ahead with his game planning. I'm picking Cruz to win by decision, but I see value in Faber. I think most people do. You don't need me to tell you that. Luke Rockhold versus Michael Bisping. This is the rematch, probably going to go down the way it did the first time. My heart says to pick Bisping though, just like it did in the Anderson Silva fight. Rockhold is so good, he is huge, his kicks are powerful. Obviously, he admitted he has a knee injury, but I'm not sure how that'll affect him. Listen, I know Rockhold will probably win. I'm going to pick Michael Bisping to win by knockout in the first round. Tell you why. Bisping has 15 wins by KO. Rockhold has lost twice via KO/TKO, and they're both in the first round. So there's my reasoning. I'm just hoping for a good fight, and I thought it'd be fun just to pick Bisping, just like it was in the Anderson Silva fight. Thanks for watching Rapid MMA. Make sure you subscribe, but most importantly, just leave your comments down below. Tell me who you're picking, and let me know if anybody's picking Dan Henderson to win.